Hey everybody, it's Lyn from Lyn's Crafts. I've got another assemblage top project I'm going to share with you today. And I've got a glass salsa jar, a light bulb. This is an old bathroom kind of light bulb. And I have no idea what this is. You could use a wooden plaque, a wooden base would work just as well. This is something that my husband, who is the world's most insane scrapper, they scrap metal. I wanted to say it was from a vacuum cleaner is what we decided, but I'm not sure. But that's what I'm going to use. Alright, I'll come back and show you the rest of the products I'm going to use. Alright, I've got some black modeling paste. You can use the white modeling paste if you're going for a different look. The Deco Art Media Crackle Glaze. A couple of the Lindy Stamp Gang. This one is a Moon Shadow Mist. And it is, Buccaneer Bronze, looks like. And Cattail Copper Brown in the Starburst spray. And I have very little left of either one of them. I'm probably going to pull out a couple of other colors to go along with that. And then, going on with the theme, I'm going to use a couple of the metallic lusters from Deco Art. The Iced Espresso, the Rose Gold, and the Silver Spark. And that's just where I'm going to start. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is I've got a brown paper sack, and it's a thin brown paper sack. I've got a script stamp, and this one actually just came from Oriental Trading Company, and it was pretty darn cheap when I bought it. So I really like it. I use it a lot. This set is also from Oriental Trading Company. I'm not sure if they still have it, but if they do, you should grab it up. It's got a couple of Eiffel Towers, butterflies, fleur-de-lis, and some postage type stamps, the Arc de Triomphe, and a few French phrases in Paris. Alright, so I'm going to start with the script stamp though, and some Memento in Tuxedo Black. You can use any stamp you want. The stamp itself is totally unimportant. Alright, now we're not trying to fill up the whole page, but I want to try to fill up this wider section across the middle. Not fill up, but that's the part I'm working with. Turn the stamp around the right way. And yes, you can use a stamping block if you're uncomfortable just doing it with your hands. One of the things I never worry about is how messy my hands get, because they get pretty messy. Alright, see there, it wiggled a little bit and got a little double stamping there. Alright. Yeah, well. Alright, good start. Alright, I've got the 2 butterfly stamps. Just put on my stamping block, just kind of willy-nilly. That looked like a good place for it, didn't it? Alright, and then I also pulled out this corset stamp. Don't know why, I just felt like it. Isn't that pretty? It is. Alright. Alright, now I've got the Lindy Stamp Gang spray in the cattail copper brown. I don't know why, that one's always hard for me to remember. And of course, you know, I'm not happy if I don't spray myself, so. Alright. Now, I'm going to dry this with my heat gun, and I'll be right back. Alright, the second color I used was the Buccaneer Bronze. And now I've got a Moon Shadow Mist, and it's the Silhouette Silver. I just thought it needed a little bit more sparkle. Well. And I guess a little more color. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to dry it again and I'll be back. Alright, now I've got the black gesso, the lid to my jar, which I have punched a hole in that will fit the light. This is not necessary if you're not going to put a light in the lid. And the base, so. And once again, I'm going to do the pouncing method. And what that's going to do is that's going to help it stick to the metal. Plus give it a nice texture. If you don't have a stencil brush like this, you can just use a stiff brush and it will work just as well. And this may take a couple of coats. Alright, and then I'll go around the edge and I'll do the base. Alright, I've got the base and the top of the jar completely done and dried. I did put 2 coats on the base. I did put 3 on the lid of the jar. So I've got these metallic lusters in the Iced Espresso, the Rose Gold, and the Silver Spark. I'm going to start with the Iced Espresso because it's the darkest of the 3 colors. And I'm not going to put it on solid, just like on the last project. Alright. Then I've got the rose gold. And this is a newer color, and man is it pretty. Now, of course, if I was thinking about what I was doing, I don't need to necessarily cover around the center because that won't show. Sorry, I was a little off camera there. Alright, and lastly, the silver spark. And I'm doing that last because it really is a bright silver color. I'm just going to let that dry just a couple of seconds. It really doesn't take long. And then I'm going to buff it. And I've just got a an old cloth napkin. Alright, and of course if you're worried about it scuffing or getting worn off, you can put a glaze on it. I'm not. It'll probably just be setting up on a shelf. Alright. And I'm going to do the lid of the jar the exact same way. Okay, now I'm going to glue the jar to the base. And because of the shape of the base, which happens to fit perfectly on the jar bottom, unfortunately, I'm gonna use some glossy accents and a little hot glue. And the only reason I say unfortunately is because I'm out of E6000, which is really what I would prefer to use. So I'm gonna be pretty generous with the glossy accents. and then run a bead of hot glue. And hopefully, at some point, it will make contact. But of course, I didn't have any wiggle room. But it looks pretty good. Alright, and the other thing is I've got, and I don't have any idea what this is or what it came off of. I think it came off of a kid's toy package at Christmas. And it's got another little thing that will snap inside. But I'm just going to hot glue this down in the middle. Alright, and that's going to be to set my light. Alright, and the next thing I have are some butterflies. What I did was I googled butterfly images and just printed out some butterflies. Graphics Fairy has some nice butterflies. Sweetly Scrapped has some pretty butterflies. After I printed them out, I cut out 2 copies of each butterfly and just put a little stickles around the edge. Alright. I want 3 butterflies, but I only want 2 of them to be paper. So I'm gonna set these aside a minute and decide where I want them. First of all, I want to find where the seam is, and it's really difficult to find. The only reason I'm concerned about finding it is because when the lamp light shows through, it'll be double right there, so I want that to be the back. Alright, so I'm actually going to let these butterflies dry a little bit longer. Okay, now that the butterflies are dry, a little bit of planning. Right. Alright, and then the next thing we'll do is to make a polymer clay socket for the light bulb to fit in. Sorry for being so close to the camera there. Alright. Something like that. We'll need a little socket for the light bulb. Okay, sorry I did not film spraying the light bulb. What I did first was I painted a coat of the Deco Art Media crackle glaze on the light bulb, and it totally did not crackle. But after it was dry, I sprayed on the 2 colors of the Lyn Gill Stamp Gang spray, the Buccaneer Bronze and the Cattail Copper Brown. Okay, and it's all nice and dry, and it should be pretty pretty permanent. It will wash back off if you get it if you get it wet. But you could spray a sealer on. You can paint a sealer on. You just have to do it in the one stroke kind of method, because if you overstroke it, it will smear. Alright, so that is that. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I need to measure for the socket. Whoa. So I want to measure in between here, which is a little more than an inch. And I'm going to roll out some clay. Alright. You know when you have those projects you really wish you wouldn't have started? That's the way I feel right now. Alright, I did wrap it around the bottom of the light bulb, and then I put my circle cutter just to help it hold its shape. And I'm going to bake this, and like I said, the light bulb is completely bakeable. This white clay was really dry for some reason, and I don't normally have that happen. Alright, but we're just going to go with it. I'm just going to bake this at regular polymer clay temperatures. The light bulb will be fine. The circle cutter, of course, will be fine. And I'll be back. Alright, just because I think this piece needs a little more color, I've got a little bit of red. I have no idea. It's probably Sculpey 3. It's just one I had in one of my scrap bags. And then I've got an old washer that my husband brought home. We got an instant start button. And again, I'm just going to bake this with the light bulb because it's clay and metal. And it should bake just fine. Alright. Alright. Okay, I have no idea what I missed, or I've got the light in the lid of the jar, and I've made another ring around the bottom of the light bulb to give it some stability, so that if I need to change the light bulb or to turn it off and on, I can just lift the bulb right off. Alright. And the last step I'm going to show you, I also put another butterfly on the bulb. Is some wings. I just took a metal, it was actually a metal earring that I got in a rack from my dear friend Stephanie, and I molded each side of the earring, so they're not exactly the same, as you can see. I just filled the molds with amazing casting resin, and I dyed it with a little bit of black, and then I did some deco art media on it, and then rubbed just a tiny bit of the deco art metallic luster in the silver on the edges. And what I intend to do is to glue these on either side of the light bulb. Something like... something like that. But again, I'm still out of E6000, so I'll probably just hot glue it for the video purposes, and then I'll come back and glue it when I can get to the store, because as you can hear, it is storming up a storm today. So I'll get my heat gun heated up and I'll get that done and come back and show you the finished product. Okay, here it is finished, and I'm sorry I can't get it all in the frame on my tripod, my camera holder. I do really like the way it turned out, although it's not at all what I had pictured in my mind when I got started. So, I did add the button that I made to the side, and I did add the wings to the light bulb. Alright, and as you can see, the light bulb still will come right off. Alright, and I'm sorry I can't show it lit up. Alright. Alright, here it is, the whole thing. I don't know if I'll figure out how to flip this on the video, but... Alright, I shall holler at y'all later. Bye now.